Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Farming Simulator. As I get this set up here over on field 23, we're gonna harvest this field. Thought I'd do something a little different today. Just get this on. There we go. So, with it being the start of New Year 2020, it's pretty safe to say that we're going to get a new farming sim game probably at the end of this year. Now, we know that in the past, every 2 years seems to be the magic number. Let me get that out there. As to when we get a new farming simulator game. And so I thought I would just do this video to kind of say what I personally would like to see in the game and what improvements I would like to see made in this game. Now, again, I want to state very clearly that this is just my opinion. Okay, I don't speak on behalf of anybody in the community. This is just what I would like to see in this game. So it goes without saying that new farm machinery is probably going to be added. So that's a given. So I'm not really going to go into detail of what kind of farm machinery I want to see added to the game. I want to go into really features and things that they need to fix, and this is a fantastic one. The draw distance of this game is it's horrible. I'm sorry. You know, the big circle that you see around it when you're doing your crops, you see a circle right there as I move the camera. Really, in this day and age, there's just no need to have that kind of terrible thing in a video game. And I mean, the draw distance is pretty horrible. Another thing I want to touch on, and I know this is a touchy subject, but the overall graphics of the game. Now with FS17, I will say that the lighting is better. You know, I do appreciate that you can see the textures more and things like that. I really think they did a good job with the class DLC with the 3D treads. Oh, that's fantastic. But overall, the graphics on this game are horrible for 2020 standards. I mean, guys, we're coming up on the next gen of gaming consoles. The PS5, the Xbox Series X is going to be coming out at the end of this year. This game does not look good enough to be on those consoles. This game doesn't look good enough to be on computer, actually. And my opinion is that their game engine, it's to the max. You know, that's all there is to it. I just don't think they can squeeze any more out of the current engine that they're using. And, you know, I hear all the time that, well, the graphics don't look good because it's the limitations of console. And I gotta tell you, I find that it's just silly. I mean, there's racing games that look a million times better than this. Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably the most beautiful game I've ever seen, and it's on console. And yes, before you jump down my throat and say, well, you know, there's a lot of different things with this one. You know, like bales and trees and blah, blah, blah. Like, look, I get it, but it's no excuse. They really need to upgrade the graphics engine on this game to make it look wow, to make it look amazing. Another thing is that I want to see in this game, I want to see seasons implemented into the base game. No more seasons mod. You know, I think realismist modding is brilliant. I think what they do is just amazing. but really, we need that mod built into the vanilla game. Now, you look at, I don't care if you turn it on or off. That's fine. You know, you could have it like weeds or crop destruction. You know, because I know that there's people that don't like seasons, and that's fine. You know, just make it so you can turn it on or off. But seasons has to be in the base game, because with seasons in the base game, that means the seasons will be allowed to use script. And so, in my mind, I'm thinking, how cool would it be in the winter when it snows and you see snow actually on trees, snow building up on buildings, snow building up on, you know, everything in the game. I think it would be amazing. And I just feel that there's a lot more that they can do with the seasons if it was implemented into the base game. With that being said, I think what Realismus Modding has done is just brilliant with the current version of seasons. And with that being said, I'm gonna have to tab over and get something to empty this out. So let me do that real quick, and I shall be right back. Alright, so while I'm driving this John Deere back, so we can empty that, another thing that I would really like to see, considering that I'm playing on a Thrustmaster T150 as I speak, you know, I really want to see force feedback in this game. I think force feedback for steering wheels would be an amazing addition to have in this game. You know, it would just really add a lot to those of us that play with the wheel. And for those that don't play with the wheel, you know, why is there no vibration in the controllers in this game, really? So we'll just set this up here. There we go. Now, another thing that I would like to see into the game has to do with animals. And the Realismus guys really hit a home run, I feel, with the changes that they made to the animals in the game. But I would love to see baby animals. I would love to see it where when your cows and your sheep and your pigs give birth, that there's actually baby animals roaming around and you can see them grow. That's something we may never see in the game, just something that I would really like to see. So with that being said, there's some of these things that, yeah, you know, we may never see in the actual game. But some things I would like to see, and some of the things I would like to see maybe a little off to some, but one thing that I would really enjoy into the game, and I wouldn't say so much as like a survival aspect, but just something to do with the farmer. You know what I mean? Like, make it so the farmer has to sleep. Make it so maybe the farmer has to eat. You know, little things like that. Honestly, I think a farming simulator would take cues from, like, Farmer's Destiny and combine some of what's in that game. Not all of it, because I do like Farming Simulator the way it is, but combine some of that, like fixing up the farm. Combine that with this game, and I do believe that they would be king of the farming sim games for such a long time. And another thing I would like to see, and again, this is something that I highly doubt will ever come to the game, but I would love to see something where, you know, during wintertime, you have to work on your tractors, and you pull your tractor in the garage, and then all of a sudden, it's like Car Mechanic Simulator, where you can put your tractors up on a lift, and you can work on them, and you can take parts off, and you can, you know, you could diagnose problems with it. Maybe all of a sudden you got a tractor broke down, you know, so you have to, you know, put it on a flatbed and you bring it back to your shop and you tear it apart and you find out what's wrong with it. I think something like that would be amazing, and especially with seasons on, because that would give you something more to do when you don't have your crops to take care of in the off season. Another thing, I think that it would be cool if they had more varied jobs. I do know that certain maps are going to be having more winter-related jobs. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet, but I think that's definitely a cool thing. Like in the winter, have it where you can plow. You know, maybe you can deliver firewood. There's so many things that they could do. Another thing that I would like to see is I would like to see them do a better job with the whole ground editor. The way it is right now, you know, raising and lowering land, it's really hard. It's really difficult, and it takes a lot of time to get it right. So I would like to see them tweak that a bit and get that to where it's a lot more user-friendly. Another thing I would like to see in the game, I would like to see something of more weather implemented. You know, like maybe natural disasters, maybe, you know, flooding or something like that. I think that would be a real added. And again, you know, you could add that to the seasons. You know, you can have all these things where you could turn them on, turn off for people that don't want that level of realism or whatever. You know, but yeah, I think that would be so cool to have that. It's like, okay, well, this year's been like a really rainy year, so the crops have been, you know, flooded or whatever. And obviously, you know, I'm going to sit here and I could sit here and say, you know, I want to see mud and all that, but here's my take on that. The way this game looks at the very moment, mud would look terrible in the game. You know, I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel. Yeah, I would love mud, and I would love dynamic ground, where when it rains out, you know, your fields get muddy. I think that would be hard to implement, because you don't want it to be that way all the time. Just when it rains and, you know, a little bit after, so it can dry out. But again, I don't feel the graphics for this game are quite up to par to handle something like dynamic ground. You know, I hate to say it, but even Mud Runner, the graphics in that game are better than what's in Farming Simulator. And again, it's like I can't really think of anything else right off the bat. Like I say, farming tools and stuff like that, those are always going to be in the game. Modders are going to do that. You know, I mean, really, I want to see Giants really step up, and I want to see them make a good game. Okay, and what I mean by that is that right now, the way I feel about Farming Simulator is that Giants makes this shell of a game, and the modders take it and they sculpt it into something enjoyable. They asked on their forums not too long ago if you would play the game if there were no mods in it. And I definitely would not. I can honestly say that if it wasn't for mods, I definitely would not be playing Farming Simulator. If it wasn't for seasons, if it wasn't for all the different animal pens, just everything, I wouldn't. You know, I really wouldn't play the game. So if they're ever planning on taking the mods out of the game, they need to really step up their game and show me that they can wow me all on their own. And so far, they haven't shown that one bit. They haven't really shown that they can make a map that has any feel to it. And what I mean by that is that when I play this game, I don't just play any map. I have to feel like that map is like speaking to me. Like it's got to be somewhere that I feel like that I would really see myself like farming on. And the Giants maps just never feel that way. Come on. I guess I'm gonna have to keep up with them here. You know, they just never really feel that way to me. This is really hard to do when I'm talking. That's good enough. Okay, so yeah, basically just, you know, better maps, better graphics, just better. Like, I mean, I feel that FS19 could have just been labeled as FS17 2.0, honestly. But I do love the game, and I always come back to it, and I always play it. So, why don't you leave in the comments what you really want to see in the game, and what you think about where you'd like to see Farming Simulator go in 2020. And if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time, guys.